American bison, the comeback king of North America, the American bison is one of the greatest wildlife comeback stories in U.S. history. These massive animals can weigh up to 2,000 pounds, about the size of a compact car. But here's what surprises most people. They can sprint at speeds up to 35 miles per hour. That's faster than most cars are allowed to drive in residential neighborhoods. Their skulls aren't just for display. They're built like battering rams, capable of smashing through wooden barriers and absorbing impacts that would shatter bone in other mammals. They survive temperature extremes that would kill most animals, from brutal minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit winters to scorching 100 degrees Fahrenheit summers. In winter, they grow thick, insulating coats. In summer, they wallow in dirt, covering themselves in protective mud that shields against insects and heat. But their story nearly ended. By 1900, fewer than 1,000 bison remained in North America. Just decades earlier, millions thundered across the Great Plains in herds so vast they took days to pass a single point. Commercial hunting, habitat destruction, and deliberate extermination campaigns pushed them to the brink of extinction. Today, they're a conservation success story, carefully managed in national parks and protected reserves. They may never roam as freely as they once did, but they survived. And what makes them truly remarkable isn't just their size. It's their ecological impact. It's their wallowing behavior aerates soil, creates water-filled depressions, and helps shape entire prairie ecosystems. Bison aren't just survivors. They're ecosystem engineers. African buffalo, Africa's most dangerous herbivore. This isn't an exaggeration. It's a warning. The Cape buffalo has a reputation among hunters and wildlife experts as unpredictable, intelligent, and extremely dangerous. It can weigh up to 2,000 pounds. Their horns fuse together at the base of the skull, forming a thick armored shield known as a boss. Its natural protection built directly into their forehead. They move in enormous herds, sometimes over 1,000 individuals, sweeping across the savanna like a living avalanche. And here's what makes them especially feared. They remember. There are documented cases of wounded buffalo tracking and ambushing hunters days after being injured, waiting silently in brush before charging from behind. They're one of Africa's big five, not because they're rare, but because they're among the most dangerous animals to hunt. Even lions know better than to underestimate them. A healthy adult buffalo can fatally gore a lion. Herds have been observed returning to rescue injured members, forming defensive circles and actively driving predators away. Their social structure is surprisingly coordinated. Herds often make group movement decisions through body positioning, individuals facing the direction they want to travel until consensus forms. They also host oxpecker birds in one of nature's well-known partnerships. The birds eat parasites while gaining a mobile food source, but threats remain. Disease outbreaks like rinderpest have devastated populations in the past. Expanding agriculture is shrinking migration corridors. Climate change threatens critical water sources during dry seasons. Still, the Cape buffalo remains what it has always been. A herbivore predators genuinely respect. A wild water buffalo. The living bulldozer wild Asian water buffalo are the largest wild cattle species on Earth. They can weigh up to 2,600 pounds, with horns spanning nearly 6 feet from tip to tip, wider than most people are tall. These animals are semi-aquatic by nature. They spend hours submerged in rivers and mud, keeping cool in the tropical heat. They can even graze on aquatic plants while partially underwater, a rare ability among large land mammals. For over 5,000 years, domesticated water buffalo have plowed fields, hauled loads, and supported agricultural societies across Asia. But their wild counterparts are a different story. Fewer than 4,000 true wild individuals remain, scattered across parts of India, Nepal, Bhutan, and Thailand. The biggest threat isn't hunting, it's genetics. Domestic buffalo vastly outnumber wild ones, and interbreeding is slowly erasing the original wild bloodline. At the same time, wetland habitat loss continues as marshes are drained and rivers redirected. Wild water buffalo are powerful and aggressive when threatened, capable of defending themselves even against tigers. They create wallows that become microecosystems, supporting insects, birds, and amphibians. They are creatures balanced between two worlds, land and water, wild and domestic, survival and extinction. Gaur, the forest titan. The gaur is the tallest wild cattle species on Earth. Bulls can stand nearly 7 feet at the shoulder and weigh up to 3,300 pounds heavier than many small cars. They have a muscular ridge along their back that forms a prominent hump, and distinctive white stockings on their legs. These giants move through dense South and Southeast Asian forests with surprising agility, crashing through bamboo thickets as if the vegetation barely exists. Even tigers rarely risk attacking a healthy adult gaur. Only the very young, old, or sick individuals are vulnerable. They live in herds led by a dominant male, maintaining hierarchy mostly through displays rather than constant fighting. But habitat fragmentation is isolating populations. Disease transmission from domestic cattle poses ongoing risks. Climate change and deforestation are shrinking their range. Gaur don't just live in forests, they shape them. They carve trails through dense vegetation, disperse seeds, and maintain forest clearings through grazing. They are forest architects. Aurochs, the original and, finally, the ancestor of every domestic cow on Earth, the aurochs. Standing nearly 6 feet at the shoulder with massive forward-curving horns, aurochs were powerful. Aggressive wild cattle that roamed Europe, Asia, and North Africa. Julius Caesar wrote about them. Prehistoric cave paintings depict them. But in 1627, the last known aurochs died in Poland. We domesticated their descendants, and then we eliminated the wild original. Today, over 1 billion domestic cattle exist worldwide, but the true wild ancestor is gone forever. Modern breeding programs attempt to recreate them through selective backbreeding. The results look similar, but they are not the same. The aurochs represent something deeper. The cost of losing the wild version, once we VA reshaped it for ourselves. Extinction is permanent.